Rolling. Welcome back to In the Trenches. This is Ian Beckles with Martin Gramatica. We heard a little bit about his football career, an illustrious career. And we can talk about your career, your Pro Bowls. How many Pro Bowls you go to?
Oh, just one.
Just one, yeah. Or just one.
No, no, you know why I say that? 'Cause I got robbed my rookie year, man.
Of course you did.
I was so mad. I had more field goals than Jason Hansen, and he missed an extra point, and I didn't. So I felt like I got robbed. But
a lot of times you don't make it until after you deserve.
Right.
You know, you have to make that name first, and then you usually make it.
I get it, but I was
upset
about that one. I said, you never know if I was going to get a chance
again.
No,
I get it. So let me tell you a similar story. I was here for 7 years, and I started for 7 years. And in about my third year, I was playing pretty good football. And I remember every year that the John Madden team would come out, right? So I'm like, you know what? I'm a grimy player. I'm the kind of guy I think John Madden would pick me. And so every year I'd watch the John Madden thing, and I was like, I didn't make it again, so I'd be all sad. So in my 9th year, we were playing Monday night against Dallas. And so I think it was Harold Carmichael says, Madden wants to talk to you. Madden and Summerall want to talk to you. And I go, me? He goes, yeah. And I go, really? He goes, yeah. So I walk into the room with Madden and Summerall. And they look at me, and Madden looked at me, and I go, is it me you're looking for? And John Madden said, I had to meet you because I didn't think there was any way that somebody started for 9 years and I'd never heard of him before. So Tampa Bay is obscurity back in, not anymore.
Yeah, right.
But it was obscurity back in the day. So you got there after all that mess, okay? Right. So you guys were visible. I didn't realize most of our stuff was blacked out.
Like the blackouts. Nobody knew about
nobody
that.
Was watching. Nobody was watching our football whatsoever.
Right.
But listen, you get through. You have a wonderful career in general. I still think you belong in the Ring of Honor.
Thank you.
And I know Mike was pushing for that, but that's a real thing. Your football career was a success times 50. If you play 1 year in the NFL, I think you succeeded, and there ain't no way to fake football. There's no way. But the unfortunate part for a lot of us is life after football. Has led to the demise of many of our brothers, okay? I have quite a few brothers that I played with that are gone, okay? Drugs and the alcohol situations. There's a lot of different things. There's financial situations. You seem to have weathered it. Like I say, you're a guy of the community. You do good things in the community. I was there. Was that your first house you gave out to that
first Charlie Lemon?
Charlie Lemon. I remember. I was there when you gave out the first house. And that gave me chills, man. Like to see that veteran with no legs, get that house. And I know you guys were changing lives, and you're still doing that. How many houses have you distributed?
So we did 7 from scratch, mortgage free. But then we partnered
built 7 houses from scratch.
We did, and then with Pinellas Habitat helped us build a bunch of them. But that was for just they do most of the work. We just kind of help out. But that's. For me, so that's one of the most rewarding things because obviously we're not from this country, so we appreciate the freedom and the American dream, and those men and women that give so much for this country. It's the reason why we have those American dreams. So be able to and Charlie's always thank you. I'm like, you're crazy.
Yeah, right.
You don't have to thank me, man.
No doubt.
You lost 2 legs and your best friend.
Right.
You deserve everything you're getting.
And still had a good attitude.
Great.
So life after football for you. What has been the biggest challenge of life after football?
You lose a lot of friends, obviously.
Yeah.
That people, not friends, people you think that were good. Like some of my family that I thought, was close.
Yeah.
When now you're not making the money, or you're not the financial, you can't support everybody. Eventually, the money runs out if you keep spending like you are when you're playing. So that was the most challenging. I was fortunate,
Those aren't your friends, by the way.
Right.
They're not your friends.
So, but that was hurtful that I was that dumb that I would fall for that. That's where I look back. I'm like, man, what an idiot, But I was fortunate, my wife's amazing, and she's the reason I got through a lot of those ups and downs, because there were still a lot of ups and downs family-wise too after I retired. But yeah, she kind of put everything in place, and we're lucky. I got lucky.
Don't believe in luck. I say it all the time. I don't believe in luck. I believe in hard work and
No, with her, finding her, I mean.
Oh, no, that was lucky.
Yeah, exactly.
That was lucky.
That's what I meant, man.
I was like, tell Mike Covey, I'll kick your coverage, but it's all
exactly.
It's all good. But so you hear what I say about life after, and the challenges of it. what would you say about some of your former teammates? You say the friendships and the one. If people ask me, what do you miss the most out of from football? They still ask me, and the first thing I say is money. I'm not gonna lie, money was good. Money was real nice. Every Monday you got a nice check, so that was a beautiful thing. But the locker room obviously is important. Those at the time, I don't think I realized how strong those bonds were, because like the other day, a couple months ago, I was blessed to bring my son back to Indiana. Indiana was undefeated at the time, which is nuts. And I bring my son back, and I saw a bunch of my old teammates, and the bond is weird. It's a brotherly bond that, we're all these hard, rough dudes, and you're hugging each other like, old boyfriends in a weird way. And there's that bond in a locker room is a weird bond if you've never experienced it. How would you explain? I know you know what I'm talking about, because even a player today, if I meet a player that's active right now and I say, hey, my name is Ian Beckles, I played for the Bucks back in the day, there's a respect that comes back automatically.
Right.
And there's something about being in that locker room. You don't have to love the guy, but there's a mutual respect and a bond. And I miss that. And that's hard to replace for me.
That you never get.
Yeah.
Besides that locker room, there's no other, besides I think maybe military, they have that bond even more, obviously, because they're life and death. But for us, like, when people ask me that, yeah, you miss the competition, you miss, like you said, you miss the paycheck.
Yeah.
But the locker room, those friendships, the thing is, when you shut the door of that locker room, everything goes.
Yeah.
There's no politically correctness. If you're thin-skinned, you're over.
Yeah, you're done.
It's over.
Absolutely.
So that's why, that's what I miss the most. Going in the locker room and not knowing what joke or what somebody's going to do to you or what we're going to do to somebody. And we had a lot of free time with the kickers and punters, so we're always thinking about who can we mess with.
No doubt.
So that I miss the most. And then the competition. Those butterflies that I think Cam Newton was talking about it, where he's doing this military show where he climbed on a helicopter.
Yep.
He's like, I felt those butterflies again. I hadn't felt those since I retired. I mean, I don't think anything besides playing in a stadium gives you those butterflies. I've coached, I've done a lot, and nothing's given me that.
It's impossible. No way.
Watching my kids kick, it gives me more. That gives me more.
Well, you know what's funny? When I was watching my daughters play basketball, my son playing, I coached my son, so it was a different feel, But I would be in the stands watching my daughters play basketball, and they were both, they excelled in basketball. And my eldest, Zane, I used to play against boys. And they're all girls team used to play against all boys team and waxing them.
Oh, yeah.
It was one of the highlights of my athletic career, and I wasn't even playing. I would sit there and watch the fathers on a team of boys getting waxed, and it gave me so much pleasure to watch that. You know what I mean? But I tell people that the one thing that I would like to have done again, and you didn't get it done as much. I never thought about this, but you didn't get introduced that much.
I don't think we ever did.
You didn't get introduced ever?
Special teams never go.
That's what what? Sam Weich did it. Because one time Sam Weich was feuding with Trent Dilfer.
Okay.
They hated each other openly.
He let the kickers go.
So our head coach and offensive coordinator and our first round quarterback hated each other. So what he did was he introduced the punter. I bet Mark Rose was there. He introduced the punter, the place kicker, the holder, and the kick returners. I swear to God. It was the craziest thing. 1 week it was a defense, then it was a special teams, then it was a defense, then it was people from Florida. He wouldn't introduce the offense. He didn't want Trent Dilfer to get any cheers, bro. It's crazy. I went through some stuff, though.
Yeah.
I went through
that's some crazy.
I went through You were blessed. You got here and Tony Dungy was here, correct?
Oh, yeah. I got here, when they were winning.
Dude,
Yeah.
I got here in 90, and I went through Ray Perkins, and I went through Richard Williams, and I went through Sam Weich, all wacky for different reasons. But when Tony Dungy got here, and I was only here with Tony Dungy for 1 year, when I left, I was upset, because I just knew that was a dude. But I'd never been around somebody, even to this day. I'm not a religious person. I have no problem with people being religious. But I've met like one or two really religious people, and he's one of them.
Yeah.
And I don't have to sell him to you, okay? That's one of the most realist people I've ever met in my life, and I find myself quoting him a lot. Even when I was parenting, coaching, I find myself quoting him a lot. So I think we're both really blessed to have been exposed to him.
Oh, and every time I see him, I said, you ruined it for me because I had you first, and I'm going to compare everybody to his coaching.
That's true.
But with him, is as religious as he is, he never pushed it on anybody.
Never.
He's one of those that talks the talks, but walks the walk.
Yep.
So you just follow.
Yep.
And anytime I miss a kick, under Dungy, I felt like the worst person in the world.
It's funny you say that.
I let him down.
He's the only coach that I felt that way for. If I played poorly, like I almost couldn't look him in his eye.
Right.
And the other coaches, absolutely,
He didn't never yell at anybody, but you could see when he was frustrated or upset, because you could kind of got teary eyed a little bit, and But yeah, I hated missing when he was my coach, because I felt like I let somebody down. Sure. Well, I knew I let somebody down that gave you so much trust.
Sure. Well, people, and when I'm on sports radio and everybody's like, we have to get a new coach because Tony Dungy's not emotional. And I just laughed. And I go, I don't know if I've ever met anybody more emotional. He hasn't ever yelled. Listen, I asked my daughters one time, both of them, have I ever yelled at both of them? And they both looked at me. I don't think I've ever yelled at either one of my daughters. Ask them if I'm emotional. I am emotional. Tony Dungy is one of those guys that he'll speak to you a certain way. He won't raise his voice. He'll get a little crackle in his voice. Yeah. And you can feel that it's serious for him. And I knew that early when Tony Dungy, one day he goes, I don't want anybody parking behind the building anymore. Then the next day, 2 people parked behind the building. I've never seen somebody so upset, but not like yelling, just like, hey guys, I'm telling you, we will never win unless you can just take simple, simple things. One time we took a bus to Jacksonville, people were complaining. He goes, you guys will never win. He goes, all you're doing is complaining. You're so blessed. And he just said so many things that were lessons later on in life, and that you can teach your children, and that it keeps on going. I'm coaching now at Chamberlain, and I can say I'm a little more abrasive than Tony Dungy is. Everybody is, but sometimes I say things to my kids, and afterwards I'm like, I can't believe I said that. Yeah. But they're Chamberlain kids. I think they react to that.
They react to it.
I think they go home and they hear some of this crap, and I think that's what they react to. But it's definitely, the kids these days are different. They're bringing up different. We don't want to sound like 2 old fuddy-duddies complaining about these young people. All right, we're going to take one more break, and we're going to come back, and we're going to end it by talking to Martin about his future, where he's going from here. Talk about his family a little bit. I've been a fan of his kids from when they were 2 years old. I remember looking to go, those kids are going to get a lot of tail when they're young, because they have beautiful hair, and it's just you have a good-looking family.
Thank you.
And like I said, doing wonderful things in the neighborhood. So don't go anywhere. In the Trenches, we'll be back with Martin Gramatica.